Hey, what's up guys? We're back on Pokemon Showdown, and I'm here to talk about the new May tier update. A lot of things have changed actually, with rises and drops, as it says right here. And some of them are surprising, some of them not so surprising. I just want to go through it pretty briefly, honestly, and just give my thoughts about it, and if I think it is beneficial to the metagame. So, first we'll hop right into it, and here's the, as you can see, the big one is right here. Their stall Pokemon, Amoonguss and Quagsire, both went up to OU. And originally Quagsire was NU and Amoonguss was RU. So this is very beneficial to the metagame in my opinion, because now in any tier below OU, there is no more efficient stall. There's no more unaware users like, I guess Quag's the only one with the Clef. So unaware users are non-existent, and a regenerator user is now strictly an OU, so that's awesome. I honestly think Quag isn't good enough to be OU, even though with used in the right team it is pretty good. Another case, Amoonguss. I think Amoonguss is already an OU Pokemon. It is so good. Look at that HP stat, 114. Let me get into it real quick. It has the regenerator ability. This thing is insanely bulky, and the regenerator ability obviously just makes it so good. Has access to Spore, Sludge Bomb, and Giga Drain as dual stabs. A lot of times you can run HP Fire. But another thing you can use is Clear Smog, so people can't start setting up on you. You eliminate the target stat changes. So this Pokemon's very, very good. I've used it a couple times in my lives, and then you guys have seen it in my RU Spring Seasonal Tournament. So I cannot use it in RU anymore, obviously. But a really cool Pokemon nevertheless. So next we'll go into the next one, and Honchkrow moved from UU to RU, so now it is an RU Pokemon, and Honchkrow is deadly, guys. Honchkrow is such a cool Pokemon to use. I really think this thing will tear up in RU because Fletchinder is so prevalent in RU these days, and now having a fully evolved Pokemon with a Moxie ability and access to priority as well with Sucker Punch, it's just going to make it so much better. I honestly think this is a good move too. Honchkrow, like I said, is such a threat. It gets things like Pursuit. What else is this thing? I mean, if you really wanted to run Thunder Wave, this thing gets Thunder Wave, but it gets Superpower as well, so Steel types are definitely don't want to switch into this thing, so it gets great coverage. Even Heat Wave as well, even if you want to run some Heat Wave, it has a decent special attack. It's not like, even if you ran Adamant, Heat Wave not do anything, so if you were really scared of something like a, what do you call it, the bug and steel type, what's it called here? I have to go to the, I can't think of the name. It's a bug and steel type in RU, very, very bulky. I don't know why I can't think of the name right here. Oh, that's Claviculator, yeah, this guy. Heat Wave would destroy this thing if you were worried about it. This thing would just tear through the RU tier. I'm almost positive. Blastoise is a decent check, Alomomola is a decent check. Aerodactyl's still not safe due to its low defense stat. Almost anything. It's going to be a very good Bronzong killer, so that's pretty cool. I guess you got to watch out for Diancie as well. Even fighting types are definitely not a counter. I mean, Hitmonlee kind of is because it outspeeds, but you definitely don't want to throw in a Hitmontop against this thing, because it has 71 base speed, not 70, so even a max speed Hitmontop will not be able to hit this thing. Hoopa is definitely no longer going to be a threat. Honchkrow beats this thing as well, even with 71 speed over the 70. So really, really cool Pokemon. I really like the move. And next we'll move on to the next one. Now we have Gastrodon moving from RU to NU, and Gastrodon's a really cool Pokemon, guys. I've seen it in OU recently because of Volcanion and things just trying to counter Volcanion. It has the Storm Drain ability, so water types will raise its special attack by 1, which is pretty cool. This thing also gets Clear Smog. It can be ran physical or special. Very good wall, honestly. It's not as good of a wall because if this thing got Stealth Rock, it would be so much better. But due to its access to not getting Stealth Rock, it just kind of isn't as good as some other options like Seismitoad. Things like that. Even Quag is a little bit better due to the unaware ability. So next, well, it does get Scald, and I mean most water types do get Scald, but I mean it's still not as good. I agree with the drop. Will I ever use Gastrodon in NU? Probably. I could see myself using it, even using Curse. Curse Gastro is pretty cool. I mean, usually you just run Toxic. This thing gets Pain Split, which is kind of cool. It does get reliable recovery with Recover, which is really nice. And other than that, it's just used as a good water wall, and that's about it. Maybe you can burn some things, Toxic some things, and that's about it. So it does have Ice Beam as well. I forgot about that. So pretty cool Pokemon. I agree with the move, and hopefully people start using it a little bit more so it doesn't drop again. I don't think it will drop again. NU is probably the right tier for it. So next we have Aggron moving from RU to NU, and I really never use normal Aggron. I occasionally use Mega Aggron, not too much. I usually like faster Megas, but normal Aggron is pretty cool because it does get Rock Head, and you could run a Choice Banded Head Smash set, which is going to probably tear up NU. Honestly, Head Smash Stab is 150 base power, and with the Rock Head ability, you aren't taking any recoil. The reason why I think Aggron dropped is because of its typing, honestly. If you guys, here, let me look at its typing real quick. If you look at its typing, it is Steel and Rock. That is a terrible typing, even with its insanely high defense stat. Any fighting type move, any ground type move, this thing's going to down. It's pretty much going down. You could hit it with a superpower from Honchkrow and it's gone. So that's kind of a big weakness, honestly, because if you're running the Choice Banded set, you're not running Sturdy, and you aren't safe from knocking it out with revenge killing. So that kind of sucks. That's why I think Aggron dropped, and I think it deserved to drop as well. Nobody was really using it in RU. It just got outclassed by other steel types like Registeel and I guess Exclaviclear even. And I guess, yeah, that's about it. So then we'll move on to the next one. The next one is a big one, and it's Conkeldurr moving down from OU to OU to UU. And Conkeldurr's a very good Pokemon, guys. This thing is definitely an OU mon in my opinion. Sheer Force or Guts, even Iron Fist is a good ability too. The main set is Sheer Force with Life Orb though. This is probably the best set, and you can run like Drain Punch, even Mach Punch for priority. This thing gets Knockoff, it gets Ice Punch, it gets the Thunder Punch. Even Fire Punch if you really wanted to run it. Earthquake, such a good Pokemon. It gets Bulk Up. And even Poison Jab. So this thing's so threatening, honestly. I don't know why. I mean, people weren't really using it due to like in OU, because I think so many faster Pokemon were running around, and Conkeldurr's kind of a one-trick pony, kind of like it does one thing really well, and that's just hit things hard. Even the Gut set, that's all it's supposed to do, is just hit things hard. So I mean, there's better options in OU, I agree with that, but I still think this thing is an OU Pokemon. If you look at OU, there's not a lot of fighting types in OU. Like, I'll go to OU. We have Breloom, we have Keldeo, which is kind of a special. Mega Lopunny and Mega Medicham are Megas, so they would have to be your Mega. And that is about it, besides Mega Glade and Heracross. I guess Terrakion too. Terrakion's a pretty cool Pokemon. So things like Terrakion were getting used over Conkeldurr just because of its speed. But I still like, even Breloom's getting used over it because Breloom's Technician ability and its access to Spore. So that is why Conkeldurr was not getting used. It's kind of just one thing. It's a mono fighting type, which is pretty cool, honestly, but Conkeldurr is still a very good Pokemon, and I've been using it in UU recently, and it's been tearing up. I'll probably have a live over that shortly. So really, really cool mon, and I guess I agree with the drop, but like I said, I still think this thing is an OU Pokemon. So we'll go to the next one, and the next one is Alakazam, moved down from OU to Borderline, so it's still OU material. So luckily it is not in UU, because this thing would just tear through UU in my opinion. It's like one of the fastest Pokemon in the game with 150 base speed, and then 175 base special attack is insane. With the Trace ability, so that's really cool. I agree with this drop 100%. It's definitely a very frail Pokemon, 55 HP and 65 defense. So you really don't want to take any hits with this thing. I think almost normal Alakazam is better, honestly, because it has the Magic Art ability, because you can use the Focus Sash set and take a hit and then revenge kill something. It's the perfect revenge kill user. A Life Orb variant is also very good, just to do more damage and not being able to get hit with that Life Orb recoil. So really cool. It's Pokemon. I agree with the drop though, and it wasn't being used enough. So Next we have Mega Altaria, and Mega Altaria did the same thing. It moved down from OU to Borderline, and I agree with this one this move as well, because even though Altaria has fantastic typing and fantastic resistances, even with some great overall stats, it's just something that almost has to set up to be any kind of threat whatsoever. As you can see, this thing gets Cotton Guard, this thing gets Dragon Dance. I'm pretty sure it even gets what else does it get? It gets very reliable recovery with Roost. It gets Pursuit. It gets Ice Beam. It gets Hyper Voice. It gets Heal Bell. So this thing could be ran in so many different ways, even the Fire Blast. That's the reason why I think it's Borderline and not OU. So like I said again, I think it does belong in the Borderline tier along with Mega Alakazam. So next we'll move on to, I didn't really cover Quag, so I'll go to Quag. Quag is the other NU mon that moved up to OU, which is ridiculous. The reason why is because of Stall. Stall is so prevalent now. So this is the reason these two paired with each other are insane, because Quag's only weakness is Grass, and Amoonguss Quad Resist stats. So very good partnership between these two. That's why Stall is crazy right now. You throw that with Mega Sableye and Chansey and, you know, all your favorite Stall mons, you can pretty much win almost every game if played right. So that is the reason why Stall is so popular. So really gotta watch out for that now. It's only in OU though. That's the good part, because now you won't find really any Stall teams in UU. I mean, UU is probably Blissey, Defog Salamence, Florges. Like, it's just not going to be as near as good as the OU Stall. So if you don't want to play any Stall, like say you really don't want to play any Stall, go into any of the lower tiers now and you should be safe, which is kind of cool, honestly. So I agree with this move. I definitely think all the Stallmon should be OU for this reason. It would change the metagame completely, which is awesome. So we'll see how it goes. And next we have Smeargle, and Smeargle moved from RU to NU. I honestly have never used this thing, but I know it gets some decent, Moody, that's in for anything goes. People just keep boosting up their stats. Smeargle is cool because it gets like any move in the game, I'm almost positive. Anything you can think of, this thing probably has it. It's just insane. I guess the Spore set's pretty cool, like just Lead, Spore, Sticky Web, and Stealth Rock. Very good hazard setter. Other than that, I don't think this thing is honestly very good. I agree with the like, it even gets Geomancy. I even agree with the move down to NU, because it just was getting destroyed. This thing's not good enough in my opinion. Every single time I play one, Hyperspace Fury, that's funny. Yeah, it's just insane. So I don't really know what to say other than that. Like, this thing just honestly isn't very good in my opinion. It gets beat by other hazard setters that are much bulkier. This thing has 55 HP and 35 defense with 45 special defense. So very frail mon, but it does what it does, which is setting up hazards pretty much. If you're not setting up hazards with this, say you're attacking with this, it's a terrible idea. So I agree with this change. Like I said, I never used Smeargle, so I can't really talk about it that much. Interesting Pokemon to say the least. And we'll move on to the next one. And here's another one that I really never used is Mawile moved from NU to PU. And I guess the case was because it just wasn't strong enough. Like, it does have Sheer Force or Intimidate, so you can run an attacking or a defensive set. But its stats are just very bad, honestly. Even with its incredible typing, it's still not a viable Pokemon to use, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure it gets some decent moves. Yeah, it has access to some very good moves, but like I said, its stats are just terrible. Even with Sucker Punch and Swords Dance, if you're not using Mega Mawile, you just might as well not use it. So I agree with the change. Like I said, I never use it either, so I'll probably pretty much just leave it at that. Next is Sylveon, and Sylveon is one of my favorite Pokemon, as you guys have seen from my GPSL days. This thing is so good. Using it in UU is going to be so much fun. Hyper Voice, Specs Hyper Voices just are amazing. Even if you resist it, it is not a counter. Usually you die in 2 hits. So pretty cool mon. And say now that it's moving down to UU, Tentacruel is going to be the main counter, and this thing has access to Side Shock, and Side Shock will most likely one hit KO if it's not physically defensive. So very, very cool. This thing is going to tear up in UU in my opinion. Even gets Shadow Ball if hang on, not return. Shadow Ball if Chandelure is your Sylveon counter. So pretty cool. And if you have Fortress, you have HP Fire. So really cool set, honestly. I really love this Specs Sylveon set. It hits so hard. And even if you didn't want to run Specs, even a bulkier variant is still really cool, because I honestly think this thing, I wouldn't say outclasses Florges, but it kind of, in my opinion, is a little bit more bulky than Florges if you run the physical defensive set. So it's pretty cool, honestly. It's going to change it up a little bit. It's going to make Florges used not as much, which is kind of needed, honestly. Florges is used in almost every single UU team that I play. So I like the change. I don't know if I agree with it, though, because there aren't that many fairy types in OU. Let me go back to OU. You have your Clef, you have your Mega Diancie, and you have your Mega Gardevoir, but those are 2 Megas. So you have your, I'm going to not count the Megas. I'm going to go Clef. Then you have your Klefki. I mean, Klefki is literally just a hazard setter, honestly, and a T-Waver. That's all it does. Fairy types, yeah, they're very slim. You get Togekiss too. So I thought, honestly, it deserved to stay in, but it wasn't used as much, so I guess I can see why it dropped. And lastly, we have the Zapdos. So Zapdos is a pretty cool Pokemon, and it recently just got the Static ability. It's its hidden ability, and you can switch this thing out on any U-turner, and you will most likely paralyze it, honestly. So I agree with the change going up to OU. It was coming. It had it coming. This thing was OU when I started playing Pokemon competitively. So it's no news to me that this thing is back in OU. Very good Pokemon. It's so bulky, honestly. You could run a bulky set, and it walls a lot of things with its unique typing. And then it's even with the, well, you can't run Defog and Static. That's the one pullback. You have to run Pressure if you want to run Defog. If you want to run the bulky hazard removal set, you have to run Pressure. But in any way, if you want to run in a more offensive set or even a more defensive set without Defog, you can still run Static, which is really cool. So Static makes this thing much more viable to use, honestly, and it has nice moves like Heat Wave and access to Volt Switch, even U-turn if you don't want to use Volt Switch, and Thunderbolt. So really cool Pokemon, honestly. Even if it got a Hurricane, this thing would be OU and it wouldn't get out of OU, in my opinion. So I agree with the change. Definitely going to use Zapdos probably more. And those are the May tier changes, and it's definitely going to change the metagame. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I really like the changes, honestly. I thought they had it coming, honestly. Like most of these mons had it coming, especially Amoonguss. So that'll be the video, guys, and I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, and I will see you next time.